Ladies and gentlemen, get excited. Season 50 is upon us. We have waited for such a long time. We have known the cast forever. We know the tribes. We know where they are. We're seeing all the pre-production interview material come out day after day. There's people across the country searching for idols to try and get a golden ticket to be invited to the season 50 finale. But today, on Survivor Squared, the whole reason this show exists is to do this show right here, where we power rank all 24 members of the season 50 cast, telling you not just who our favorites are, but who is going to win this show from the first boot at 24 to the final three and the sole survivor of the biggest season in Survivor history. Welcome to Survivor Squared. My name is Tony Squares. If you've been following me, or if this is the first time you're seeing me, welcome. I have been watching every single season of Survivor for the past calendar year, back into 2025, every single week, somehow putting up a recap of the season 1 through 49, and we're here. We've made it. We're at season 50. I've seen all the seasons. I haven't released all the recaps yet. Those are all coming out one at a time, but I've seen it all. I've caught it up. All of Survivor is in me right now, and I'm ready to spew unto you the knowledge that I have accrued over the past almost year of my life, because this is what matters. This is what we've been building to. There has been commercials, marketing all over the place. Jeff Probst is a household name once again, but I am here to tell you exactly not just my thoughts on the season, but actually break down the game tape for you. I have pages and pages of notes if you can watch me right now. I have so much going on in front of me. I'm going to get confused over where I wrote what, and I'm going to argue mostly with my co-host, my ride or die, my number one, because she too is going to be crafting this power rankings along with me. So welcome to the show once again, Miss Bailey Buffs. Come on in, Bailey.
Tony, we're finally doing it. 50 is upon us.
We are. It is here. I can't believe it, Bales. We have had a long road. We went through all of season 49 together. We've been talking about the traitors. You can watch our past episodes online. We've gone through the top 10 twists in Survivor history, the worst 10 twists in Survivor history. We've done so much Survivor work, all in training, really. All of that was our preseason. All of that was our practice, our spring training to get to this moment right here, where we need to break down and ride this train from start to finish of the season 50 roller coaster. Bailey, as you can tell, I am amped up today.
Tony, I for some reason, when we've done power rankings in the past, or we've done it for traders, I really had a vision. I had difficulty with this. I had difficulty with it because it is such a nuanced cast. I know that there's so much backlash of this cast, and we will get into talking about that, of course, but it's a weird group of people, and to try to guess how they're going to play together really stumped me for some of them. So I'm very excited to see what you have to say, and I'm excited to see how our lists are similar, how they're very different, which they normally are when we've done this in the past.
I had some trouble in the beginning, Bailey, because this was a big task to take on. But once they released who the tribes were, it kind of all clicked into place for me. And I think strongest about my bottom 5 and my top 5. And again, when we break down these power rankings, our bottom 5 isn't like, I don't like so-and-so. No, we're coming at this purely from literally we're going into the Super Bowl and trying to predict who's going to win. We're breaking down game tape, the matchups, this O-line versus this D-line. We're breaking down all that. Strategy, immunity idols, everything they've done in the past, who they've grown to be right now. Do we think they're going to overthink things and change too much? I talked to Troy Zan on one of my episodes here, and he talked about how everyone went into Game Changers and they overthought what was going on. They tried to change what they did last time too much because it didn't work for them last time. Surely this will work this time. So some of these season 50 people might overthink themselves. Some of them who this is their 4th or 5th season might come in as confident as they were on the last one and not change enough. So we're breaking this down. Even though I love some of these players, I don't like some of these players. I agree with you. There's not all the casting choices I agree with, but I'm coming in at this saying, put my bias at the door. This is purely who I believe is going to win this thing, because like you, Bailey, we're both the same type of mindset here. I want to be right. I want to get this 24-1 absolutely perfect. And I think together we're going to accomplish that. And we'll have a fantasy draft. We'll have guests coming on to talk about season 50. The premiere is right around the corner. There's so much we're going to break down as we move forward here. But this is where it starts. The power rankings, 24-1. I'm going to go first, then Bailey, and we're going to keep building till we get to the final. But 24 is a big one, Bailey, because 24 means this is who we predict to be the first boot. And it's a sad one because I loved this person in their season. It was one of the first seasons I had ever seen of Survivor. And this is based, again, not on what the player can do, but rather what everyone seems to be saying in these pre-game interviews taken on the beaches of Fiji. We're getting all this intel now from all these different outlets where they're asking these players like, hey, who are you threatened by? Hey, who do you want to buddy up with? And we're hearing all these people say multiple things like, oh man, I really want to be on Jonathan Young's team. Of course you do. He's a tribe beast. But a lot of them are scared of what they don't know. And even more of them are scared of what they just saw. And when they went to film this, Bailey, they just saw Kyle and Kamilla tag team the hell out of season 48. Kyle won, obviously. Kamilla was sent out in the final four, losing a fire-making challenge. She's the only person on this beach, Bailey, with 0 votes ever cast for her. And I believe, because her tribe is the worst at the start, in my opinion, I believe Kamilla is our 24th in power rankings and will be the first boot of Survivor 50. It makes me sad.
Oh, it makes me incredibly sad. I had her at 22, so I was right there with you. I think exactly what you said, her relationship with Kyle is going to be such a big threat. I think for a lot of these new era players, that is going to be something that is going to be difficult. I think even for, some of the 37 people, Christian, Angelina, and Mike, like anyone that's coming in as a core group of having past relationships, I think is automatically a threat. And I do think with that layup of the team, unfortunately, Kamilla is the weakest of those women when we talk about performance-wise and challenges. I mean, she has Chrissy and Dee on that same team with her. Like, yeah, I think we're going to see Kamilla go early, which is very sad. But I agree fully with you. I think that's a great first pick, unfortunately. These first 5 are just going to break my heart.
It really is. I do want to set the stage, though, for those who don't know who the tribes are. We'll start, when we name a person on the starting tribe, I'll go through the starting tribe. Kamilla is on the Kalu tribe. Jonathan Young and Dee are the 2 big challenge beasts on that tribe. Mike White is also on that tribe, as is Charlie from season 46, Tiffany also from season 46, and we round it out with Coach, one of my favorite players of all time, and Chrissy, the runner-up in Healers, Hunters, Heroes, Hustlers, whatever that terrible season name was, season 35. That's the 8 in her group. And again, I don't think Kamilla's the worst player. I just think to me, if that tribe loses, they're looking at their weakest links and challenges. I think Mike White and Chrissy are kept because they're scared of Kamilla's strategic intelligence, and they might buddy to the older people in Mike White and Chrissy. By the way, that's the oldest tribe in Survivor 50. 3 players over the age of 54 on that tribe. So yeah, I just think that tribe's going to fall behind in these early challenges, and Kamilla will be the first boot. But Bailey, that's 24. Who do you have 23rd?
I think this player is seen as a big threat. I think he was seen as someone who should have won his season. I think he was seen as someone who played an incredible social game. He was very strategic, very smart, performed well, lasted long. I mean, even in my eyes, he was one of the most memorable people from his season. And I am going to stay with the theme of this one team. And unfortunately, I do think we're going to say goodbye to Charlie very quickly off the bat. I don't want to see that. I think he should be getting redemption. I think people are afraid of Charlie. I think they're why, you think he's going to win the whole thing? You put Charlie to win the whole thing, didn't you?
Bailey, keep going. Why do you think Charlie's the second worst player on Survivor 50?
Because, here's why. Because I truly think that team is not going to do well. Yes, they have Jonathan in their challenges, but like you just said, they have Coach, they have Mike, they have Chrissy. Yes, I know Chrissy was a challenge beast on her season, but she is older. We are a little bit later. And Coach is such an easy person to get out later. He is such an easy person to just point the finger at and say, we're done with Coach, get him out, because he's drama, he's trouble. He's the same with Q. It's going to keep them in because they are threats off the bat, but I don't think people are going to actually be afraid of them. I think people will keep Mike around. Mike conspiracy stands that they just want to get put on the next season of White Lotus, so they're going to try to buddy up with him and get close with him. I think they're going to need to keep Dee for her strength on that team. Same with Jonathan. So I think if they lose again, and I don't think they would go for Tiffany right off the bat either, because I just think it would be Charlie. I think he's a big threat. And maybe I've just always held him in really high esteem, but I do see Charlie as someone that is going to have a target on his back right away. And with the dynamics of this team, if they do lose, I think Charlie would be up for elimination very quickly.
Charlie lasted 26 days, as we know, in season 46. He had 7 wins total, 3 of them individual when it came to tribe challenges. Only 2 votes cast for him the entire season 46, but 3 of them at Final Tribal. It wasn't enough for him to see the victory. And now he comes in on our power rankings 23rd. There's a reason we collaborate on this, Bailey, because Charlie was in my final 3. And you took away someone who I thought, as you said, you're absolutely right. He is seen as a very big threat. I see him as a lot more helpful physically. And again, even though there's a lot of threats here and this could go multiple ways, I do think some of these veterans know that they can't keep going to tribal council. So they need, at least in the beginning, to keep some strength around. However, you are right in the fact that all of these former seasons, all these former players that have played seasons together have been split up. All the 3 people coming from David versus Goliath have been split up on the 3 tribes. The only one that hasn't is Tiffany and Charlie. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to automatically work together, but it is something that a smart player will go, you know what, I don't like it. I don't like that at all. And they might try and target that early because of that. Could they go after Tiffany instead of Charlie? Sure. But we have Charlie at 23rd. Man, we've already taken, 15 minutes on only 2 players, Bailey. There's a lot to talk about. Let's jump forward to season 20, to player 22, power ranking 22. And it's the first person we're going to talk about on the Vatu. Vatu tribe has 8 people as well. Colby from season 2, the Outback, the first ever person to get a win stripped away from them. Colby is on this tribe, as is Genevieve from season 47. Our boy Rizo, who finished in 4th place, season 49. Angelina from David vs. Goliath. The aforementioned Q from season 46. Stephenie from Palau. Kyle, the season 48 winner, and a fan favorite in Aubry. That's a fun tribe. It's probably the tribe that has the most people I'm rooting for. And maybe not, but it's a very, very fun tribe. However, I'm going off the presumption that these people are scared of what they don't know. And as much as we love him off the show, our boy Rizo, who was eliminated in fire making, who had only 7 tribe wins, who had 3 votes cast against him, lasted 25 days in season 49. I have Rizo as the 22nd player in our power rankings. I just think these people are going to be scared. The Russell Hantz effect from heroes versus villains exists, and it's still prevalent in these pregame interviews on these beaches, especially the older players. They're scared. Colby was there. He saw Russell take over that game because people didn't know what was going on. He can whisper into others' ears like, hey, this Rizo kid could be dead. We don't know. And Rizo is extremely smart. Like, he's extremely strategic. So if he talks to people, they're going to catch on early like, oh, this kid isn't just, a ball of fun. Like, he's got a head on his shoulders. We need to be scared of him because they don't know him. He also isn't a type of player that's like extremely great on challenges where they're going to be like, we need to keep him for a little bit. He's going to be a player that they look at and go, the devil you know is worse than the devil you don't, or better than the devil you don't. And Rizzo's going to get cast aside. What do you think?
I fully agree. I think, unfortunately, in terms of challenges, he is expendable. And I think, like you said, fear of the unknown. And when you're someone who has a self-proclaimed title such as Riz God, to refer to yourself as I just mean, honestly, like, to refer to yourself as a god to someone that doesn't know you and you are coming back immediately after, like, oh, you're a god who apparently did amazing and lasted a really long time. Yeah, I don't want you here. You are a threat and you're not going to really help around camp. I agree with you fully. I think Rizzo and Savannah, I think a lot of these new era players from the very end are going to have huge targets on their back. And I do think we are not going to see Rizzo last very long.
Well, a little bit different than, say, a Season 8 All-Star here. We haven't had a winner go yet. There's only 3 former winners in this cast, 1 on each of the 8 tribes. And sometimes that's another thing that people point at. But these are such strong winners, in my opinion, both physically, strategically, intelligence-wise, that like some of these players might be able to survive even if that target is on them early. At least I would want to keep them around because of that, wanting to work with these players. Because again, I do think that 2-time winner thing is a title that people don't want to hand out easily. So if I'm sitting next to Bailey and Bailey's already won and we kind of played the same game, I do think people are going to hand it to me because they don't want to make another 2-time winner. But maybe I'm wrong on that. Bailey, who's 21st in our power rankings?
This breaks my heart, and I don't want to see this happen, but when looking at this team and looking at how they're going to vibe together, I mean, we have Cirie, who gets along with everyone. We have Joe, who is the dad. Christian, the most lovable, likable man in the world. We have Savannah. We have Ozzy, a legend. We have Rick, Emily, Jenna. We have so many classic people on this tribe.
Yep.
But when I try to think about just who's going to vibe together, who's going to bring strength, who's going to add around camp, and I do think we've stuck mostly with new era people. I do think some of those old era people are going to get out early, and unfortunately I think we will not be seeing Rick Devens for a lot of this season. I think Rick is going to be taken out fairly early. I don't think he's going to be seen as a tremendous amount of help around camp. I don't know if he will necessarily really vibe with people socially.
This is why we're doing it together though, Bailey, because not only do you have your own opinions on this game, I have my own opinions on this game. We have no idea how it's going to play out, and it's good that we both have differing opinions because eventually we're going to get to a final 3 where we both kind of have high, maybe not top 3, because we're seeing what each other isn't seeing. I had Rick Devens lasting till 6th place, probably the last person taken out before the finale. Again, that Sela tribe that he is on, and again, by this point, we're eliminating our 4th person. There's probably been a tribe switch. There's probably been a Billie Eilish batarang. Like, there's been shit going on. So things have changed. So now we're kind of going off the cuff here. But again, this tribe to start off, I think, is the strongest tribe. So I think they have a lot of players that will last for a while. Edge of extinction, went to extinction, came back, ended up in 4th place because Chris took him out at fire making in one of the most epic finales of all time. Rick Devens from season 38. He lasted 38 days. He had 8 wins as a tribe. He had 7 individual wins himself and 12 votes cast against him in a single season. I loved watching Rick Devens, and so maybe my fandom affected this ranking a little bit. I do think this guy, it can be as cutthroat as they come and is smart enough to weave his web. Like, I think this is a snake in the grass, and maybe people see that as a threat. I agree with you, but I also think he is smart enough to know, especially when we've already taken out 3 new era people at the start, we might get an old era alliance. We might get Rick Devens going to Chrissy, going to people like anyone, really, and being like, hey, let's figure this out together, because he went to David immediately. On his season of Edge of Extinction, there were 4 returning players, and Devens immediately went to one of them and said, let's work together because you know this game and I don't. We're going to tag team it. He might do that again. He might be the David to some new era player on his team this year. So he knows how to play, and other people are a little bit worse at that. And so that's why I had Devens higher. But again, you're seeing things that I'm not. So Devens comes in at 21st on this ranking. Whew. Number 20 comes from that same original tribe that we talked about, because you had Devens low thinking it's going to be the first boot. I got to say, my recap for this season is coming in a few weeks, and I'm going to get in trouble because there are a lot of people who really like this player, and I didn't see it. I think Emily Flippen doesn't deserve to be on this season, let alone be very high in the rankings of season 50. I know we've had on guests on this show. We had on Squid Games The Challenge player come on and say Emily was one of his picks to be the winner on season 50. Eric, I'm sorry. I think Emily Flippen stinks at Survivor. And I think Emily Flippen is an easy first boot should this tribe go to tribal because she really brings nothing physically. I think she's very good at finding an alliance and playing into that game. I just think, as you said, when it comes to how this tribe comes together, Emily's either going to be really liked or really not liked. She's either going to vibe or not vibe. She did not know who Jenna Lewis was. And again, some people see that as like, oh, that's so funny. Emily's so cute to be there. Some people might see that as, you don't know who Jenna Lewis is? Why are you on this beach? And I have Emily coming in 20th, Bailey. Where do you have her?
I think that's a great position. I was going to say, I think the only notable thing she did on her entire season was get Bruce out. She led that vote, and that was pretty much it. And someone who wasn't even a threat. You know, I agree with you. Emily did virtually nothing on her season. I was pretty shocked to see her returning. And I also think from what we know about...
A lot of people really like her.
I don't dislike her. I think there's something very relatable with her. I mean, she's very neurotic, nervous energy. I think people resonate with that too. Like, people can see themselves in Emily. She's relatable in that sense. But I also think from what we just watched on season 49, like, love this girl to death. But Savannah Louie does not get along with a lot of other girls her age, as we have seen in the past. I don't necessarily see Savannah and Emily like vibing together. I don't. And I think that's a great pick, unfortunately. I know there's been a lot of talk about Emily lasting really long, but I think if she does last long, it's just because people are dragging her with them. And I think this is going to be too smart of a season to do that. So I do think we'll be seeing her off very, very quickly. I agree. Yeah, I totally agree with that.
To catch everyone up, we've eliminated 5 people. Kamilla was 24th. Charlie, somehow 23rd. Rizo, 22nd. Rick Devens, 21st. Emily Flippen, 20th. That's 4 New Era players cast aside in the first 5 votes. Bailey, who do you have next?
I feel bad that we keep attacking these New Era people, but I just, for some reason, feel like they're not going to last very long. Okay, so this one is a little bit of a different angle that I'm coming at from it, and maybe a little bit conspiracy-esque, but from a lot of these promos, there are certain people that are being highlighted a lot, certain people we are seeing a lot of, and certain people we are not really seeing very much. That may be intentional because they're lasting a long time, or that might be intentional because they're not sticking around too long. So unfortunately, this is someone I loved on their season. I thought she was incredibly skilled with social games. I thought she brought a lot around camp. I thought she was good in challenges. She did a good job of playing middle ground a lot, but also making moves when she needed to. And I do think, again, she's a big threat. She was a big contender to win her season. So I think Genevieve is not going to be lasting too long. She's in none of the promos. I mean, she's doing the confessionals and stuff, obviously, but we're not seeing Genevieve in any of these videos. So it's just hard for me to assume that she's going to be lasting long. But maybe that's the point. Maybe they're trying to hide her because she wins the whole thing. Who knows? But judging from that, I do think Genevieve will be out roughly early pre-merge.
She was 5th place in season 47, lasted 24 days, had 5 wins under her belt on the tribe, was only one of those individually, had 9 votes cast against her in season 47 and still lasted that long. Yeah, man, I didn't have her much higher myself. I think I still put too much onus on physicality because especially in the beginning, like I know these people might be scared. They might look at these tribes and say, I want to get out of Savannah or a Dee because I'm scared of what they can do to me later. I just really see some of these teams knowing what's coming over the next, at least first 10 days here. Everything relies on the strength of the tribe. And so if they see someone like Genevieve versus someone who's physically not there, like Genevieve can hold her own. She's not a nothing. And I just think those votes are going to be cast on the nothings. And so maybe I'm wrong, but I do have Genevieve a little bit higher. I have her making the merge. 18th, though, on our list is someone I don't have making the merge, is someone who, during their season, was a physical threat, won the most individual challenges in the history of Survivor for a woman. 18th on our list is Chrissy from Heroes, Hustlers, and Heroes. I can never get that season right. Season 35 came in 2nd place. lost to Ben because of fire making, lasted 39 days. Her tribe won 13 times, or I should say she or her tribe won 13 different challenges, 8 of them individual for Chrissy rewards included, 7 votes cast against her during the season, 2 of them at Final Tribal. I may or may not be interviewing one of her castmates on this show. It's an interesting situation that is continuously developing, but I think Chrissy... I really liked watching Chrissy in season 35. I thought she was very aggressive. I thought she really stood up for herself. I thought she controlled that entire season. But the whole thing was she could not get Ben out. He just kept on finding idols and kept on surviving by the skin of his teeth. And that's not Chrissy's fault. Ben just played a phenomenal end game here. Chrissy lasted till the end because of Chrissy. She did so much on her season. She will be seen as a very big threat. And in the beginning, she's 54 years old, Bailey. I know she looks great. She's in fantastic shape. She's extremely personable. People will want to talk to her, will want to try to strategize with her. But again, that physicality angle to me won't be there compared to the other players. And on top of that, you thought Charlie was a threat. Who's a bigger threat than Chrissy for what she did in season 35? And how much people know that there's a lot of players here that should have won their season, I put in air quotes. Chrissy is one of those people that people believe should have won their season. And I think the players on this beach are going to look at that and go, I can't be sitting next to her. People are going to give it to her. And like, it's like, what's his face? Who won an Oscar, like a lifetime Oscar? That's essentially what they'll give Chrissy if she makes the final 3. So I have Chrissy at 18th, Bailey. What do you think about Chrissy?
No, I also agree. I mean, I think Chrissy is someone that, I mean, she gets brought up constantly. How many times did they talk about her in 49 just when Savannah kept winning, you know, because she's an icon. She holds a title, like of 49 seasons, she holds a title. Like that's crazy. Like she's a huge threat. And I think that's a very accurate place to put her.
So who's coming in 17th?
Again, talking about team dynamics, at this point, I do think we have a merge or a tribe swap or something. And we are going to start getting into, you know, who is helping strategic wise, who is helping strength wise. I think this is someone that people, again, have mixed opinions about, who have played with her or who have not played with her. But she is someone that scares me because I never know what her next move is. She can be a little wild. I think Aubry has a bigger target and is a bigger threat than we think. And I think that certain people are going to try to get Aubry out quickly. I'm just decimating your whole thing, aren't I? You're giving me great reactions, but I'm choosing the people I would want to get out. I feel threatened by. So maybe I'm all over the place, but I think Aubry's next.
She finished 2nd in season 32. She finished 5th in season 34. She finished 16th on Edge of Extinction. She has lasted, Bailey. I want to make sure I covered all this because, yeah, this is the first player we have coming back for that hasn't played just one season. So this is a returning player. It's going to be her 4th season. She has lasted, Bailey, 111 days on Survivor. Now, if you take out some of those days on Extinction, which I will, that is 14th all time. And she has a very good chance of making the top 10 should she last even to 17th on the power rankings. She has 15 wins as a tribe, 5 of them individual, 21 votes cast against her during her 3 seasons, 2 at Final Tribal during season 32, a season that I believe she should have won. And Bailey, that was my winner of season 50.
No way.
Was Aubry. Because I have Aubry again on one of the stronger tribes. I have Aubry as one of the best strategy people. I have Aubry as one of the smartest people. I have Aubry as not necessarily a physical threat, so if she makes the merge, people aren't going to be like, we need to take out a challenge beast. She's extremely smart at puzzles. Aubry is do or die. Aubry is go balls to the wall, and I think Aubry is a great person to organize a group. I think Aubry's the right person to bring everyone together and say, hey, we're a voting block of 5, of 6, of 7, and really run this shit until the finish. And also is smart enough to put shields in front of her because there are many shields in these 24 players. But you took Aubry out and put her at 17th. And I want it to be known that Aubry is my winner. So hopefully I can take one of your winners out next when we get to 16. But hey, maybe Aubry is a finalist just like Chrissy that won't get the win because people are scared of them getting to that final 3, because guess what? At 16th, we have another person who finished second on their season and is coming back for another run at the ship, and people might be scared because they're scared of this person lasting too long and to emerge. This will be Ozzy's 5th season of Survivor. Season 13, Cook Islands, he placed second. Season 16, Micronesia, he placed 9th. South Pacific, that was when he went to Redemption, fought his way back, finished 4th. And then finally, Game Changers, he finished 12th. My man has played 128 days of Survivor. It is 4th all time. He only needs a few to get to the top all time. Again, I'm taking those Extinction Redemption Island days out from Rob and Parvati. They weren't playing those days. 3rd all-time for Ozzy, who did not have Extinction Island available. 43 wins over 4 seasons, both tribe and individual for Ozzy. 16, that's an average of 4 individual victories at challenges a season for Ozzy. He's had 34 votes cast against him. And in what continues to be my favorite season of all time, Cook Islands, he had 4 votes at Final Tribal, but it wasn't enough to beat the great Yule. Season 50 is Ozzy's 5th season. He will finish 16th because, again, I believe he will be very good at challenges, but not very good at strategy or anything else. Do you agree with me?
I think if there's one thing we all know about Ozzy is you got to keep him to help around camp in the beginning and to help fish and help you get stuff, but you got to get him out before the merge and before he can start winning individual immunities. You keep him around for a few days, first week, things like that, and you get him out before the merge. So I agree with you fully. And like you said, Ozzy has played the same game. This will be the 5th season. We will see him do the same thing, which he's great at. And that's why he's an icon. That's why he's a legend. We love him. But no, I think I agree with you too. People aren't going to let him stand around lasting too long, I think.
Now, as we get to 15th, you're going to give us our 15th best player. I do wonder, this is 24 players in Survivor. We've never had this many players. It's only going to be 26 odd days, so it's going to be rapid fire. We might have 2 tribals an episode. We might have multiple split tribals. We might have multiple people going home. But I do wonder, as we get to 15 here, are we messing with the numbers of a jury, and are we adding to the numbers of a final? Are we getting a final 4 instead of a final 3? Are we getting a jury of maybe 10 people instead of 8 people? Because we're getting to that number right now where people are just making the cut before they make the jury. But Bailey, who do you have 15th?
This person, I'm going to say, I think will skate by and do well for a while. But I think, again, when we talk about knowledge that people are coming in with ahead of time and previous ideas of these people, I think similar to Ozzy, this is someone that you need to get out pre-merge because he dominates and he is known as an all-American, good old classic boy. Sweet, sweet Mr. Colby Donaldson is going to be leaving roughly around the same time as Ozzy. I think, again, just because people know him, people love him, they know he's a threat, they know he's a good talker, he's strong in his alliances, he's good at challenges. I think Colby is someone they will have to get out roughly in the middle because he is too big of a threat to continue to keep him on towards the end.
Season 2, the Outback was Colby's first season. He should have beaten Tina, and I'll always have that. Season 8, All-Stars, he finished in 12th place. Season 20, Heroes vs. Villains, he was the last hero remaining. He finished in 5th place. 98 days on the island. That's 10th all time. He has a very good chance of hitting the top 5 should he last as long as we have him on these power rankings. 26 wins and 20 votes against. Again, he is 51 years old all the way from season 2. I had Colby right around here, Bailey. I agree with you. And I do want to say, Bales, I love Colby, first off, but I do think it's, a little bit past its prime and not the best strategic player in his own right. But Bailey, I'm taking out our first former winner, Bailey. And this is a guy that I love dearly. He was the first winner I've seen live when we watched season 48 together, but I am taking down Kyle. He lasted 26 days. He had 9 total wins, 4 of them individual in challenges, 4 votes against during the entirety of season 48, and then 5 votes at Final Tribal. He was excellent in his season. My recap for that season has not come out. I have not revealed where he is in the all-time winner rankings, but it is pretty dang high because I do believe Kyle played a phenomenal game, both physically, strategically, and socially. I thought Kyle was really a five-tool player if we were talking about it like a baseball prospect. He's going to be in trouble this season because as we get now to 14 people left, we're probably at the merge. We're probably looking at juries. This is when they start picking off threats. And unless Kyle can kind of weave his way in like a spider like he did last time, people know his game too much. It was showcased so well in season 48 that I do think people are going to come attacking him, even though he has Joe still in these 14, so they might want to work together. I don't think it's going to be enough. I have Kyle going out here. What about you?
That's exactly where I had him too. Like right in the middle there. I don't think any of these winners are going to make it to the final three, final five. They're just not. I mean, there's only 3 of them. So again, huge target on your back. I think, yep, that's exactly everything you said is exactly how I agree with Kyle, and I think where he should be in those.
So as we enter the 13th overall, Bailey's about to give it to us. That is 6 new era players taken out, 5 old era players taken out. 6 dudes, 5 women. So there's not necessarily a run on anything, not like we saw Winners at War where we start to take out a certain group of people early. So it's pretty spread out right now. Who do you have coming in at 13th, Bales?
Talking about, previous relationships and alliances coming in, I think we have a blaring issue that we have not even discussed yet, and that is the 3 players that we still have all from 37 who have worked together. Yeah. I think this will absolutely be a time that one of those players will go. Mm-hmm. Of those 3, who is the biggest threat? I think it's undoubtedly Christian. I think Christian is where we see him go next. He is so smart, and we have seen that man, the inner workings of his brain, and he's so endearing and charming because of his awkwardness and his quirkiness. I think people forget what a threat he is, and so I think he will last a while. People will get comfortable with him, and then I think they will be reminded of what a huge threat this guy is, and especially at this point, if we've merged or we're getting closer to a merge, those 3, 2 of them are working together at this point now, for sure, in my mind. So I think Christian is the biggest of those threats, and I think that's where we would say goodbye to him.
I mean, we did this. We didn't really plan this, but we have only 13 players left when Christian goes out, and 3 of them played on their original season. You're absolutely right. I probably should have put one of them before I put down Kyle because of the way this ranking is going. You're absolutely right. They would start coming after them, and Christian is the biggest threat out of all of them. Fantastic job by you to put him here. I had him 8th, just a little bit higher, but again, you're absolutely right if this is the way it plays out. But 12th for me is another player who has played multiple seasons. 30th all-time in days played, 75 days over 3 seasons, 10 wins as a tribe, 2 of them individual. 1 final tribal vote in season 11, Guatemala. Her first season, though, was season 10 when she whittled her way down to a tribe of 1, and then she came back for Heroes vs. Villains, was eliminated 2nd in that one. Stephenie LaGrossa is coming in at 12th overall. Stephenie is, as you can tell from everything you've seen so far, probably in the best shape out of anyone on this island. She is unbelievable. Always has been unbelievable at the physical part of this game. She will be great at challenges early. She's amazing in the water, swimming. She's also an extremely aggressive player. She will try to get a group early. She will try to stay for that group. She's a bulldog if you let her be. And she's not an idiot either. Like, she knows that she needs to do things to get sort of far in this game. I think, though, she will rub enough people the wrong way that she seems to tie her lot continuously to the wrong group of people. And like, it just does not work in Survivor. Like, she always seems to be grouping up with the small group or whatever. It just never works out for her. I think that continues here, and she's taken out 12th on our list. Bailey?
I think that's a great place, and especially if we are going by our list, and if, the people that we still think are going to be in, we can't forget, Stephenie and Cirie had a little bit of a tiff in Traitors season 1. Cirie did not make Stephenie look too great. So I think if they're both there, and like you said, aligning with certain people, I think people are going to take the side of Cirie if there ends up being a little battle there, and I think we would see Stephenie go. I think that's a great place to put her. I did have her a little higher on my list, I will say, but I think it's a good place to see her go.
I am interested to see some of these older era players that have decades of a past with each other. I'm interested to see how much of that makes the island. We've already taken Ozzy out. Colby's been there. Colby's played with Jenna before. We have Coach on there who's played with Colby before. Cirie and Ozzy is a huge deal. Cirie and Steph is a huge deal. Like, what happens? Do some of them bring that baggage into this game, and does that affect them early? I am very interested. But Bailey, who's coming in at number 11?
Truly, actually, I don't know how she's lasted this long. But I love her to death. I love this girl to absolute death. She has won. She has a previous win on her season. And like you said, no one knows her. And talk about killer shape. She's a beast at challenges. She's someone that is not going to hold back in the beginning at challenges. So people are going to know she's athletic. People are going to fear, and they've never seen her do individual immunities. They don't know that she has as many wins as Chrissy. They don't know what a beast she is, but she looks it. And so I think Miss Savannah is going to be going next. I actually don't think she's going to last this long in it. If she aligns with Joe, if she aligns with Ozzy right off the bat, I think she could last a while, but I don't think she's going to be lasting in the final 10. So I think this is roughly around the area we say goodbye to Miss Queen Savannah.
There's a lot of people on this list still that it's very amazing that they're still here, but Savannah's awesome. I think Savannah's one of the best, literally one of the best winners in the history of Survivor. And there's also another former winner still amongst the final 10 here that is also one of the best winners in the history of Survivor, and I can't believe they're still here either. But yeah, Savannah, long live Queen Savannah. I thought she was wonderful on her season. I can't wait to see her on this season, and I can't wait for her to talk about what's going on this island. But yeah, I had her a little bit lower, 15th. She lasted to 11th. There's only one player I had around her ranking in my power rankings here, so I'm going to put him 10th. And this is where we start to get out not only threats, but goats. No offense to him. I think he's very funny. I think he's charming. I think he's someone that should be on season 50 because of how charming and how unique of a character he is, but I don't think Q is going to make it very far, and the fact that we have Q in the top 10 is kind of interesting here. What do you have to say about Q in our 10th place spot?
Q's the personality hire, is what I have to say. I think he'll last right around there because he'll be entertaining. He'll cause chaos at camp. He'll have great confessionals. But no, Q is not going to do much other than cause chaos and be funny and say off-putting things that are still kind of charming. He
lasted sixth place, 23 days, 4 wins as a tribe, 2 individual, 13 votes against. And again, because we already skipped over Savannah, we love her so much, I do want to say that girl had 12 wins as a tribe, 6 individual, okay? 4 votes cast for her, but 5 at final tribal to give her the victory. Bailey, Savannah and Q went out. Now that we're at the top 10, let's just recap real fast. I know this is a long podcast. We only have 9 players left here. We're getting close to at least what we presume to be a finale, final 5. It may even be more because there's 24 people, but we're getting down to the nitty-gritty here, okay? Getting down to who could make fire, like getting down to those decisions. Kamilla was 24th, Charlie 23rd, Rizo 22nd, Rick Devens 21st, and Emily makes the top 20. 19th was Genevieve, 18th was Chrissy, 17th was Aubry, who I have winning this whole thing, but 16th, we started to go after the challenge bees, we started to go after the older players. 16th is Ozzy, 15th is Colby, 14th, a former winner in Kyle, 13th, the big threat Christian, 12th, Stephenie, 11th, former winner Savannah, 10th, Q. 9 players left, Bailey, who is 9th.
I just don't know how we have both Jonathan and Joe staying, is what I'm going to say. Just in terms of what we've seen in past seasons. Big, burly, strong, physical men like that who aren't threats, who get along with everyone, who people like. I think it's time we say goodbye to Jonathan at that point, unfortunately. I think Joe is the bigger threat, just gameplay-wise, but I think people are going to go after Jonathan just because of the challenge beast aspect that he has. But I think one of those two is going to have to go around this point, and I do think it would be Jonathan. Which sucks. I love him, and I want him on my screen as often as possible.
Also a huge threat at fire, as he showed during his season. Finished in 4th place. I guess not a huge threat because he did lose that fire-making challenge, but he knows how to make fire. Lasted 25 days, 9 wins total, 4 of them individual. Had 7 votes cast against him. Is at the peak of his powers here. He's 33 years old. The man is a literal mountain, and I loved watching him in his season. He has shown to kind of play with an iron fist, though. And has that changed? Has he adapted? He's one of the biggest players on here that I want to see because I want to see if they've altered their gameplay. They played it once. It worked for him in some places. It didn't work for him in other places. Can he play this one and have things work out for him because he knows what he needs to do differently? He's always going to be that challenge beast, but he needs to kind of think of things a little bit differently with the strategy angle. He will be able to develop an alliance, though, because he will want to be kept early, so he'll have time to grab people. Maybe it's a Stephenie. Maybe it's someone else on other tribes where they can grab each other and say, hey, we're together. Jonathan's a great guy to have in your alliance. So can he make it this far based on that alliance, and can he get past this point right here and vault himself into the final three? I don't know. But 9th, right around where I had him, Bailey. I think that's a great spot. 8th place, though. This one hurts. It's our final former winner. 8th place, I have Dee, one of my favorite winners of all time. Won season 45 from Miami, lasted 26 days, obviously. 9 total wins, 3 of them individual, thanks to her oddly shaped feet. 2 votes against her through the entire season. I think Dee is a massive threat at this point in the game because she is so good at... There is not a weakness in Dee's game, Bailey.
She's fantastic. She has the flirtiness where she gets these big men where she wants them. She has the physicality, the threat of that. She is great with people. I mean, I fell in love with her through my TV screen. I can't imagine meeting her on a beach and spending time with her. She seems like just like the most lovely, wonderful person. I mean, we saw that she had a little romance on her season. You know, she had a man fall in love with her. But yeah, I think absolutely agreed. And there's just no way that they're going to let any of these previous winners make it to the final 5. So I think this is a very appropriate time that she will have that target on her back and people will come running for her. I think that's a great, and she was in my top 4, but that was, I think, just wishful thinking.
We just eliminated 4 new era players in a row. So out of the 7 people that are left, we have, in no certain order, we have Jenna from season 1. We have Cirie from season 12. Mike White and Angelina, both from David vs. Goliath. Coach is still here as well. Tiffany and Joe are our only new era players still remaining. So out of those 7 players, Bailey, one of them's our winner, but one of them's coming in 7th. Who's 7th place?
There's no way Coach is making it further than this. There's just no way. I don't know how he lasted this long. He snuck on in there. I kind of forgot about him for a second, all honesty. I love Coach, but you even saw in all their pre-island things where they're talking about who they want out first. And I know a ton of them say Coach. He's not going to go out first, but you know, he's a big character. People have strong feelings about him. So much. I do too. I know you do. I mean, I have questionable. I go back and forth.
Bailey, he may very well be my favorite Survivor player ever. Not because he was the best, but because he's an absolute true to himself character. I'm not the biggest fan of players like, say, Tyson, who are fan favorites, because I believe Tyson's putting on a show. I believe players like even Sage from season 49, I believe she was putting on a show. I believe it was a performance. Me and Bailey are both actors. We understand when people are putting on a show. Coach is Coach. This is not a show. This is truly individually him. And you saw it change from season 18, where he finished 15th in Token Teens. He had season 20, 8 Heroes vs. Villains. He finishes 12th. And then season 23 was his final form, the South Pacific. He leads a cult to the finish and ends up finishing in 2nd because they catch him on a bunch of lies, and Sophie's sitting there lapping it up. It's a fantastic 3-season run by Coach, and I would have been fine if we never saw him again, because it's a perfect 3-season window. But coming back almost 15 years later to play in season 50 at the age of 54, he's 11th all-time in days played. Just behind Colby is 96 days. 15 wins total, 2 individual, 3 votes at that season 23 final tribal for him to win. And I had him 5th, Bailey, and we have him 7th overall, because if he can survive those first few days, like that's a big thing with most of this final 7 here. If they can survive those first few days, I do think he's intelligent enough, lovable enough to last this long, because people aren't really scared of him, so he can fly under the radar. But he's also smart enough to attach himself to the right kind of people, to the Jonathans and Joes of the world who we still had in this top 9, because they're the heroes, the Dragon Slayers, that whole code of honor thing. I think it's perfect. I'll eat it up up every single time because I don't agree with him. I don't, I don't know if I'd enjoy getting a beer with him, but I think he is fantastically him, uniquely him. And I do think that carries him in this game, and he finishes in 7th place on our rankings. I loved it, Bailey. I think that's a fantastic placement for him.
I think Coach is like a Michael Scott almost. It's someone that you love to watch, but I would hate to actually work for him. You know what I mean? Like,
speaking of someone who maybe we might want to work for, because if we have a final 5, this is the last person on our power rankings that doesn't make the finale. And frankly, I can't believe that some of these players are in the finale. A lot of fan favorites. But this is where Mike White should go out. Mike White, again, the writer of White Lotus, is going to be terrible at challenges. He is the oldest player on the island. Played in season 37, David versus Goliath. Finished in 2nd place. I believe he probably should have won that season. 9 wins as a tribe, 4 of them individually. Only had 1 vote cast against him the entirety of the season. Really extremely good at the social game. He's can be a little catty at points, but very good at the social game and is very, very strategic. So he will find a way to weasel his way around. And again, if he doesn't get cut day 1 from his tribe, I do think he finds a way to last a while. The White Lotus thing is real. You might not want to bring outside stuff into the game, but it is real. Some of these players might want to buddy up to him because he's put Survivor players on White Lotus before, and all of these people want to be famous in some capacity. So I do think Mike White will have a little bit of leeway early, and I do think he's smart enough to find his way to the end here and then get cut off before we get to the finale. So I have him 6th. Bailey, who is 5th? Who is making our final 5, yet not making what we presume to be fire making?
they're not going to let Cirie make it to the final 3. They're not, because she wins. How do you not vote for her if she's in the finals? You give that woman her freaking win on Survivor. They're not going to let her get there. I mean, I love Cirie, and specifically also, she won Traitors not that long ago, so this girl, she is owed for this. And if they're smart, they will not allow her to make it till that final 3, because she would have my vote every time, hands down, bar none. So I think, unfortunately, this is where we say goodbye to Miss Cirie Fields, Mount Rushmore of Survivor players.
Season 12, Exile Island. First time we saw her, she was scared of leaves and becomes a Survivor legend that very season. Finished 4th place. Season 16, Micronesia. She finishes 3rd place, but arguably should have won because we had so many medevacs. We went to a final 2 instead of a final 3, so she ends up getting booted at 3rd. Season 20, Heroes vs. Villains, very early boot in 17th, but season 34, Game Changers, was the most heartbreaking one. She finishes 6th place, really controlled the majority of that season, except she gets the Idol Armageddon, gets thrown out by default. And now she's back for her 5th season. She's played in Traitors. She's played in Australia. She's played all these other things because she is an absolute legend, and she is 4th all time. 121 days on Survivor for a lady who is scared of leaves, and she's just 11 days away from passing Boston Rob as the number 1 most games played in American Survivor. I'm taking away the Australia days from Parvati. I'm sorry. I'm also taking away the Redemption Island, the Extinction Island days from the rest of them. I'm sorry. Cirie wasn't on Extinction Island. She doesn't get 20 days padded to her record for nothing. Neither was Ozzy. Anyway, Cirie, 121, 11 days away from B-Rob. Ozzy, again, is 128, only 4 days away from B-Rob. We have 4 people left. What I presume we're at is fire making. The 4 people left are Joe from season 48, Angelina from David vs. Goliath, Tiffany from season 46, and Jenna from season 1. And we are, with Cirie, that's 4 girls and only 1 guy remaining. No one's beaten Joe at fire making out of this 4. So I am throwing. Finished 8th place in the 1st season of Survivor in Borneo. Came back in All-Stars, had a fantastic run, cutting people's throats, finished 3rd place. She knows what she's doing when it comes to Survivor, although it's been a long time since she has played. Lasted 65 days in just 2 seasons. That's good for 52nd all-time. Never has won an individual challenge. Has had 15 votes cast against her over 2 seasons. Jenna from season 1 Borneo finishes in 4th place. And what a magical story it would be, Bailey, if Jenna made it.
I would love it. I would also like to just point out she is the only player on this entire cast list that has never played with immunity idols. She has never played with immunity idols in play. The only person. I just think that's a very interesting fact to see. But I also agree with you because I think if Jenna makes it into the final three, same thing. People would give her the win just because she deserves it. She was on season 1.
Yeah.
Like, Jenna is one of the biggest names, from Survivor that has been relevant for 25 years. So, yeah, I agree with you fully there.
So,
I agree with you. All right, so we have our
Bailey,
final
we're at our
three.
final three. We're at Final Tribal. We have 2 players from the new era, 1 player from the old era, but the oldest we're going back is season 37. There are 3 wonderful names on here. 2 of them have made a final before. So one of them is going to be our Michelle. One of them is going to be a person who's never been voted out of Survivor. Okay, that's either going to be Joe or it's going to be Angelina. One of them may win, like Michelle did once, but did not do it in season 40. And then we have Tiffany, who finished in season 46, did not make the final 5 in that, but many view her as a very strong player. There's a reason they brought her back. So, Bailey, let me know, out of these final 3 at Final Tribal, who comes in third?
Angelina. I'm sorry, girl. She's a goat. She's getting dragged to final 3. She's getting no votes. I love her. I love her to death, but there's no way. There's no way.
You can't be a goat 2 straight seasons. Come on.
You can, and that's what she does. I love her. I'm sorry. I can't not, like, the vocal stim in my brain. Anytime I just think about her, just Natalie. That's all that plays in my brain. Natalie.
She achieved 0 votes at Final Tribal in season 37. David versus Goliath had 6 total wins and 6 votes cast against her throughout the season. Angelina was a fantastic watch during season 37. I'm so happy they brought her back. Out of all the 3, Christian's the first person I want brought back. Angelina's so far above Mike White in second place. Angelina's fantastic. It's so sad that you have her coming in at third to finish as a 0 vote Final Tribal again, but that means either Tiffany or Joe wins this thing, and you've left it up to me to make the decision. So in second place we have Tiffany, and the winner of Survivor 50 is Joe Hunter from season 48. This is fantastic. This is exactly what I wanted to happen. Tiffany finished in 8th place. Season 46 lasted 19 days, had 2 total wins, 5 votes cast against her. Joe was fantastic. The story with Eva, a lot of people didn't like that season because a lot of moves weren't made, but Joe was outdone by someone just working under the water in Kyle. Joe was fantastic. 11 total wins during his season, tribe and individual, 5 individual form. Had 1 vote cast against him through the entirety of the season and only got 1 vote at Final Tribal. The reason I think Joe is such a player, Bailey, it's the same reason why I started making these videos. When I watched season 48, I saw a glimmer of something in Joe that we never really saw in the season. Joe came off as this honorable dude, this big brawling father. He's a protector. He's next to Eva. He's always going to be on your side and have your back. Tried to make a alliance with Shaheen and Thomas. They were the California girls, and then as they were building, brought in Kyle. David came over. Let's make a strong person alliance. Eva will be in there. And we saw a glimmer of what I wanted to see when there was a rumor that David came after Joe. David wanted to keep Mary and come after Joe, and Joe ate David apart because I believe there is a mean streak in Joe that we did not see in season 48. There is a bit of bad guy in the great good guy. And if he can unleash that and use it successfully and be cutthroat and not try to go full honor the whole way, but rather play the game of Survivor, I think Joe has a chance to be the all-time winner of Survivor season 50. We both had him very high. We both had him. I was never going to put his name down. I was going to wait for you to take him out like you took out Aubry on me, like you took out Devens, like you took out Charlie. I was waiting on Joe's name. But we have Joe lasting this long because we both believe Joe is a huge threat. So Bailey, Tiffany and Joe, final 2. Break it down for us.
I think these are 2 people that are just going to play really wise and kind of ride the middle line a little bit for a while until it gets to the end there. And like you said, I think they both have fire underneath them for sure. So like if you get them riled up, I think both of these people would fight for their lives. I think they're going to be competition beasts. I think they're going to get along with most people. I think that these are very, very solid options for final 2 players. And again, sorry, Angelina. I just think if you're sitting next to Tiffany and Joe, you're not getting any votes.
Folks, You got to let us know what you agree with. We just went through all 24 players of season 50. I'll list them out for you in a second, but let us know what you agree with, what you disagree with. Leave us a comment, leave us a like if you enjoyed watching this show. Subscribe to this channel, Survivor Squared. We have so much coming for you on the road to Survivor 50, and then we're just weeks away from the premiere, guys. Me and Bailey are going idol hunting live in LA. We're going to parties. We're having guests on the show. We're watch parties. We have all this stuff going on in the wonderful city we live in to watch the most wonderful show on television in the biggest season since they debuted. Season 50 is here, and I'm so excited for it, Bailey. But to wrap us up, the final list of the 24 players power ranked for season 50. 24, Kamilla. 23, Charlie. 22, Rizo. 21, Rick Devens. 20th, Emily Flippen. 19th, Genevieve. 18th, Chrissy. 17th, poor Aubry. 16th, Ozzy. 15th, Colby. 14th, former winner Kyle. 13th, Christian. 12th, Stephenie LaGrossa. 11th, former winner Savannah. And the top 10 rounds out. 10th place somehow is Q. 9th place is Challenge Beast Jonathan. 8th place, our final former winner in D. 7th place, it would give me so much joy to see him last this long, Coach. 6th place, White Lotus Mike White. 5th place, the absolute legend that is Cirie. And the final 4 is Jenna from season 1 in 4th place. Angelina, another 0-vote finalist in 3rd. Tiffany with the silver medal. And Joe Hunter is your winner of Survivor Season 50. Bailey, any last words?
I think we got to do it all over again. I think we got to start over. I don't know. I don't know anything. This has made me question my existence.